This is the Canon RF 35 1.8 STM macro lens, and today I'm going to share with you guys what I think about this lens. Oh, by the way, just as a quick disclaimer, I did buy this lens myself with my own money, and I'm not sponsored by Canon, so rest assured that whatever I have to say about this lens is my sole opinion on it. So now that that's out of the way, let's go straight into the specs of this lens. Well, as the name suggests, this lens is an RF mount lens, which means that it is built for any camera that uses this mount. So at the moment, this lens is natively compatible with all the RF cameras that Canon has made so far, which includes the EOS R, RP, R5, R6 and the new Cinema C70. Oh, and also the Red Commodore also supports the RF mount. This lens has to be the most affordable RF there is at the moment because it costs under 500 bucks. As we all know, RF lenses in general haven't been pretty much what you may call affordable. So the fact that this came out pretty much the same time as the EOS R is definitely a big sigh of relief that there is at least one native RF lens that is affordable in my opinion. Anyway, here is a quick rundown of the specs of this lens. This lens weighs around 300 grams. The lens comes with an STM motor for autofocusing. It is a focus by wire lens and it doesn't have distance markings on the lens itself to mark the focusing distance. However, focusing distance will appear in the viewfinder and the EVF. I wish Canon would still make lenses that do display focus distance markers on the lens itself, but I guess that's probably not going to happen since many of the lenses now are all focused by wire, which means that the lens is not mechanically connected to the focusing ring itself. So what that actually means is that every time you rotate to focus the lens, your rotation would be converted into an electrical signal and then only the lens would move. So there's no mechanical connection while you move the lens itself. And I kind of miss that. I like that tactile feel of older lenses. Okay, let's get back on track. This lens comes with 9 rounded aperture blades. It has a maximum aperture of f1.8 and it can be closed down all the way to f22. This lens is not weather sealed, so you do have to be careful if you do get caught up in some heavy rain. Otherwise, light drizzles and stuff I think should be fine, but do it at your own risk. This lens is about the size of a Canon Nifty 50, but it is slightly more fatter in width and longer in length, as the lens does extend out a little when used. In terms of focusing, it has a minimum focusing distance of around 17 centimeters, which makes this lens essentially a 1:2 macro lens. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, now let's talk about how does this lens really feel in the hand and general build quality. The lens is constructed out of plastic with a metal lens mount. I would say that the build quality is really nice and doesn't feel too cheap overall. I really like the dark gray matte finish it has. Also, I do like the lighter gray flange bit that all RF lenses come with. I find that I like that little design cue that distinguishes the RF lineup from the older brother EF lineup. It gives this lens a fresh, new, clean, modern look. So what's it like using this lens? Well, I found the autofocus to be really quite quick and accurate in general while using it to shoot photos. Being an STM motor lens, however, it isn't the quietest of lenses to autofocus with. So you must be thinking, how is this lens then for shooting videos with if it's quite noisy to autofocus with in photos? Well, I think this is where this lens really did surprise me. In video mode, the lens motor slows down and to my surprise, it is quite inaudible. Which brings me to the next point about autofocusing in video. The autofocusing in video isn't that bad at all. However, there are times that because the motor slows down considerably during video mode, I did notice that there were times when I do feel like I wanted it to focus much quicker. Also, I found this lens to hunt a little in video mode if you are shooting in dimly lit places. And there were times when things were bright, it still did take time to focus. But generally, I would say that it was nothing that was a deal breaker sort of thing for me. In terms of sharpness, I find this lens to be quite sharp, even wide open and f1.8, especially in the center of the frame. In terms of chromatic aberrations, I would say it's pretty fair. I wouldn't say it doesn't exist at all, but it is to be expected with larger aperture lenses like this. So yeah, I'm not too bothered. Again, if you guys know my reviews enough, I definitely hate pixel peeping because it's not real. And while I can definitely agree that there are definitely times where you do need to pixel peep, I'm definitely not one of those who do that all the time. I only do it when I really need to. Actually, the main reason I bought this lens was because I was looking for a macro lens that can also autofocus, since I don't have any macro lenses that can do that, and I'm happy to say that this lens does have quite decent macro capabilities. Okay, so I guess now would be a good time to answer the question, who do I really think this lens is really meant for? Well, to me this lens is really a good all-rounder kind of a lens. With a focal range of 35mm, it really is in that sweet spot of being wide and not too wide. I find that this lens is great for both portraits, landscapes, and even architectural stuff too. You just need to know how to use it within its limitations. Of course, don't expect it to be able to get everything in the frame in really tight spots. It's not an ultra wide, but used well, it can harvest great results. To me, if you're looking to own your first RF mount lens and you are on a tight budget, why not give the RF 35mm a try? It won't break the bank and it's so versatile with its wide angle and macro capabilities. All in all, it's a no-brainer kind of a lens in my opinion. Okay, that's it for this review. If you did find this helpful, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Also, links to all the gears that I use to make these videos are down in the description below. And if you do feel like making a small contribution to help support this channel, I also have left the PayPal link in the description down below. Also, do check out our Lightroom presets, which I have also left the links down below. Right, that's it for now. See you guys in the next video.